All right, John, we are live. We are live. Let me go ahead and
All
make
right.
you a little bigger. There you go. All right. All right, good folks. We are live. We are back. The after hours edition of the KC Sports Show. I have a special guest on the other line, my guy, John from Sports for You. Give my man's a hand clap. You know what I mean? Give him a hand clap, good people.
Okay, sweet.
What's going on, John?
Can't call, man. Good to be back with you, man. Another week, and let's talk some sports with you, man. I appreciate you having me on last week. I'm glad to be here again this week.
Yeah, man. You know, it was a great show. Matter of fact, it was a great show. Lots of sports talk. This is the impromptu stream, folks. We trying to get more out there. But hey, man, John, I told you always welcome, man, and you hit me up and said.
Same here. You're welcome, and you always welcome on Sports for You. You already know.
Yeah, man. I have a lot of fun, man. A lot of stuff I didn't know.
You taught me stuff like the stuff we was talking about actually came to light out here in the city.
Really? Like with the facial recognition, John?
Yeah, because the Intuit Dome, where the Clippers are going to be playing, was the first night, open last night. Bruno Mars is opening there. Had 2 nights tonight, and Sebastian Maniscalco is doing a show there Saturday. And they said the system crashed.
Really?
Yeah, so people was able to basically do whatever they want. I mean, they got in, but the system wasn't working, and they couldn't even they didn't even have to pay for anything.
Really? Wow. You know, California is a very interesting state. It's the only state that I know of where you can't get arrested for shoplifting. I am so shocked. Well, I'm not shocked, but the fact that everybody got in free, it's crazy. That's very interesting. You should have went.
I mean, no, they know the tickets were paid. I mean, I'll tell you about it. People got in, people were already in, but people they didn't have to pay for anything once they got in, meaning like food and stuff. Now the tickets, people that you ain't getting in without a ticket.
Oh, okay.
But people had to pay for it, but people didn't have to worry about paying for any food at the concession stands or whatever.
Yeah. Very, very interesting. Very interesting, man. Now, so seeing everything that I sent you in the notes, man, it would have been dope if you and Jay Moon been on at the same time. But man, you see everything that I got from the Colin Kaepernick stuff. The Colin Kaepernick stuff is kind of like, it's like touch and go. Honestly, ain't nobody really caring about what Kaepernick doing. To be honest with you,
man, we can talk about that. Well, me, Mark, and Nick been talking about that. We told people about that a long time ago. People just didn't want to listen.
Yeah. About him and Harbaugh.
I mean, look, Harbaugh. No, just about him. Like, look, man, he if he really want to be back in the NFL, he'd be back in the NFL. But as far as him and Harbaugh, I can see Harbaugh wanting to bring him in as a special assistant, but he turned it down. So it is what it is. He still says he wants to play. He still has that passion to play in the NFL. I'm all right, and we ain't singing that same song again.
Oh, y'all, everybody's is awesome. We cool. We cool off you.
Yeah, so I've been hearing that. So yeah, I've been hearing about that. He has been out here, but Harbaugh offered him a job months ago when he took the job at the Chargers. So this was nothing new. But now I'm not even shocked that he didn't take the job.
I'm not shocked either. He probably really still wants to play at 41 years old, and I'm like, bro, it's done, bro. It's all but a wrap at this point. Nobody's gonna take you.
I agree.
Nobody's gonna take you. And as much as I would like for him to play, it's said and done, my guy. Like, that shit's done. Like, but I think the NFL made its statement with Kaepernick. It says no man, one man is going to change the way this machine works. No one man is going to change the way the machine works. And you can see how the players were when all that shit went down. And a lot of them, well, majority of them stood on their side of, no, I'm not about to stand with you. I got to make ends meet.
Right.
This is the way I feed my family.
Yeah.
It'd have been, see, that things like that, what Kaepernick did, it would have been great if everybody would have been, or a majority of the players would have been on his side. Because then at that point, the rabbit got the gun. What you gonna do with all your players, or a majority of your players not playing for a purpose? But you know how it be. Capitalism in America is big right now. You know.
Of course, and it's always gonna come down to dollars and cents at the end of the day. So even I mean, yeah, unless they just did a stage-wide protest and dudes weren't playing games, it wasn't gonna happen.
Nah, not at all. Not at all.
I said it, when he sued the NFL, I was like, oh, he kissed the baby. Like Nick would say, he kissed the baby. Right, it was a wrap.
Yeah, man, it's done. Colin, at this point, bro, just coach a high school football team, bro. You can go coach maybe in college. Maybe they'll take you in college. But as of right now, bro, it's a wrap, man. Just don't even worry about all that. I'm not even... I saw that story. I was like, Jim Harbaugh can do that. He's the coach that can do that type of shit because he's a Cavalier. Like,
right.
He can get away with cheating. And you did you see the shit that they did at Michigan where they were like,
right.
oh, he's no longer a. I'm like, bro, what? Like, who cares? He's in the NFL.
Yeah, he was never going. I thought that stuff was stupid.
He's
never going back.
Yeah, he's never going back.
He's never going back. So I mean, you giving him a 4-year stay clause. I mean, you're only doing him a favor because he was never coming back to the NFL in the first place.
It's just for them to kind of like save face, I guess. I don't know what the point of that was. To be honest, it didn't make any sense to me.
The NFL is the stupidest organization in sports. Nothing they do doesn't surprise me. They're just flat out idiots. They're like I said, they're the Keystone Cops. They trip over their own feet, man. They'll screw up a ham sandwich.
I mean, you got to give it to them. They at least made a point to, put that out there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. But
the Kaepernick shit, I'm over it. Jim Harbaugh, I'm over with. The whole cheating scandal, everything I'm over with on that side. So that's what it is at that point. This is what it is.
Oh yeah, I've been over it.
Yeah, so I think the other topic I had was the Brandon Ayuk situation. That still was he actually padded up. He didn't go to the preseason. Well, a lot of starters didn't. Hey man, I want to get your take about that though. What do you think about the starters? Because last night the Eagles had a game, right?
Mm-hmm. They played the Patriots.
They played the Patriots. None of the Eagles' offensive starters played. What is your take on that? Because I thought that didn't make any sense to not start any of my starters. But all the defensive starters played, which your guy from Denver explained. He was like, we got to play. We got to play a whole series because this is a brand new defense. Nobody knows anything. We're getting used to each other. So it made sense for them to... That was a great point. I agree with that. Yes, all the defensive starters should play in the preseason game because y'all don't know this defense. Y'all don't know the schemes that well, so we got to get used to it. But the offensive players not playing, what do you take on that? I don't like that necessarily. That, to me, is kind of trash.
I'm not a fan of the preseason personally, KC. So, I mean, I wouldn't even have preseason. I mean, they'll have preseason in college, but I know it serves a purpose. All you just wanted your players to not get hurt, learn, get their reps, not get hurt. So it doesn't bother me when players don't play, but I understand what it is. Obviously, it's a new scheme with Fangio, but obviously it's a new offensive scheme with Kellen Moore too. So,
right,
if you're gonna say that, then the offensive player should play. But if you're not gonna play both sides because you're comfortable with the reps, then just wait till the last preseason game, let them play like a quarter or first half, and then boom, they're done until week 1.
Right. My sentiment is exactly. But it sounds like you're on the side too of the NFL getting rid of preseason altogether. Are you on that side too?
Well, I've always been on that side. I hate preseason.
Wait,
Look, I
what?
get it. I get it. I get it serves its purpose, but I
How are
just feel
you
like it's
against the
meaningless.
preseason?
I just it's meaningless to me. I mean, once I see what the product, I'm like, okay, these. I mean, you're not playing your regular guys just because you're afraid they're going to get injured, and then it's just it serves no purpose. So I mean, I'm out here in LA. The Rams don't play nobody during the preseason.
Right.
McVay plays nobody. McVay plays nobody during the preseason. So it's all, it's not shocking to me. But I do believe if you're a vet, I mean, if you're a veteran player, take some rest. But if you're not, you're like a young guy. I see it serving more purpose for the younger players,
Uh-huh.
rookies. I don't see this, but vets, I get they don't like vets hate training camp. So I know if they hate training camp, they don't like playing in the preseason either.
So you don't like the preseason just because of the chance of injuries, and you just don't. I personally like the preseason only because it gives you a chance to kind of get a preview of the rookies and the players that you had never heard of who were undrafted or had been on practice squads. And it just brings foot back full scope for you, even though it's not the starters, but it's just like you kind of get a glimpse of your team and where they're going to be headed at, even though they're not really going full throttle and it's not all the starters. And it might just be maybe two players out because they just sore or whatever the case may be. I like preseason. And to get rid of, honestly, the NFL, what they're trying to do is it's not even the fact that they're trying to get rid of the preseason. They're trying to substitute it and say we got rid of one preseason game, so it's 3 now. And so we added a full game for the regular season. So it's 17 games. So we got rid of one preseason game to add another game to the regular season, which is bullshit. I don't think that they really thought about it. They did think about it. Advertisement is solely for the purpose of advertisement. If you look at the numbers, how much more money would one extra game in a regular season for 32 teams to play would they make in ad revenue?
I mean, I know people who are season ticket holders to the Rams and Chargers. They only paying, right? They're not paying no discounted price at preseason games.
Yeah,
that comes in with their package for the regular season. So you're paying basically what you're paying for the year. Obviously, for like either 1 or 2 preseason games. So now were obviously 2 home preseason games, but now since it's 3, sometimes it's 1 or 2. So. But nah, I mean, I see what you're saying, Casey, about preseason. I've been tired of it for years, but I know it serves its purpose, and I know it's not going anywhere. I just hope my only prayer is that as long as players get the reps they need and don't get injured, and everything is all good.
I feel you. Somebody said Ravens 2025 Super Bowl champs.
I ain't going that far.
I wouldn't say the Ravens are gonna go win the Super Bowl, but nah. Preseason, don't get rid of the preseason. We need the preseason. It's a part of it. I don't like change is necessary, but to get rid of the preseason is crazy. You need the preseason just to practice.
Oh, they're not gonna get rid of it.
They're not.
I'm not even worried about that. They're not getting rid of it.
I heard that Tom Brady loved to play the preseason. He said, "Hey, this is a chance for me to kind of wipe get the dust off. I've been chilling off about 6 months or 5 months. It's time for me to knock the dust off. Preseason is a way to kind of baby step your way back into playing and getting back into the motion of the game."
Yeah, preseason. Yeah, dudes don't play preseason like no matter what. Oh, okay, so I'm shutting that off. Yeah, nobody plays preseason. Nobody. Brady played it, but Patriots always did stuff different. But a lot of teams have took the McVay route about not playing their starters in the preseason. But you'll see a lot of them next week because it's the final preseason game, and everybody's going to get their the tune-up before, because it's going to be their final tune-up before the regular season. Because obviously now there's only 3 preseason games. You get that 2 week. You get that 2 week break now to basically get yourself ready for week 1.
Right. No, yeah.
So,
That makes sense to get all the starters out to play at the end of the last preseason game, but I don't know. I feel some type of way. Don't do that, and don't try to substitute and say we're adding this extra game because we got rid of one preseason game. That doesn't that's not a.
that's what it's gonna be, Casey, because they're gonna have 20 games, so it's gonna eventually be 2 preseason games, and they're gonna have 18 regular season games, and they're gonna move the Super Bowl back probably another week to try to, I think, have it fall on President's Day weekend.
You think that's going to substitute? I mean, do you really think they're going to add 20? Bro, there's no way.
No. It'll be 18 games. Look, they're at 17 now. They'll get to 18. I think that's it. It's 20 games total because you think 2 preseason, 18 regular season. So
right.
That's the farthest they'll go. It's only gonna go to 18 regular season games because you can't have football being played all the way through January that's just regular season football. Then you're gonna water down the product.
I don't know, man. Like, well, that's probably the reason why we're seeing so many like record-breaking deals in terms of contract extensions for quarterbacks and wide receivers. Because listen, the revenue is gonna be there, so it only would make sense to add another game. But in terms of it's kind of like you cutting your face to spite your nose, or cutting your nose to spite your face. You're adding all these games, but then we're making the NFL way more softer, like with the introduction of this new kicking rule, the new rules for tackling. Hell, you can't even really touch the quarterback anymore. It's different. So I guess everything makes sense when you look at it full circle, how everything's going. It's like we don't want the main players to get hurt, but you ain't really looking at it. One side's going to be lopsided in terms of the defense. The defensive players are going to be more likely to get hurt trying to tackle people. But
right.
I'm kind of looking at everything in full circle. That's how I'm looking at everything.
Show you right.
So, yeah, that's my take on it. But I think one of the other topics I had put in there, I forgot to add to you, is the RG3 firing. What's your take on that? I like to hear your.
I hate to see people lose their jobs. I don't want to see nobody unemployed. I want to see everybody paid. I want to see everybody prospering and be able to provide for their family. I hate it for RG3. Also, Samantha Ponder, who's the NFL counsel.
I saw that too.
She was fired along with RG3. Obviously, there's a lot of budget cuts.
Yeah.
ESPN, they've been doing this for the last year. But as far as an analyst, he was a good analyst. I think personally, a lot of people were maybe a little offended that he got the bump for Jason Kelsey.
Yeah.
But I personally think RG3 is going on to do bigger and better things because he calls college football games. And I think eventually he wants to be like a Troy Aikman or like a Tom Brady or a Chris Collinsworth, where he wants to be the lead analyst, probably calling games. He'll definitely become the next Kirk Herbstreit because he's a former Heisman Trophy winner. He's popular and he gives good analysis. So I hate to see it go. I mean, but eventually he's going to want to move on to the next level because, like I said, he wasn't just doing studio work for ESPN. He was calling college football on Saturdays. But now we just pray that he lands on his feet. If I had to guess, he probably ends up at Fox.
Everybody said that same thing. It's going to be Fox that probably get him.
He'll end up at Fox calling some games. And
nah.
He'll kill it. He'll kill it. He'll end up at Fox because obviously he's a good analyst. And he's
a great analyst.
He's good on game day, on game analysis. So if I had to guess, he'll end up there either calling games for the NFL or definitely calling games on college. Samantha Ponder, I don't know what happens with her, but praying for her. Obviously, she was the host, and she has some big shoes to fill. Going behind Chris Berman, and she did good for what she did good for the time she was there. It's just now, I don't know who's going to be next. I mean, I read reports that was either going to be Greeny or Laura Rutledge replacing her. Obviously, that means you're playing the name game, and both of them are pretty big stars in the industry, especially at ESPN. Greeny's a legend, but no, it was just sad to see RG3 get fired. And obviously, he had 2 more years left on his contract, so it was all financial based. There's nothing he did like that would have caused ESPN want to fire him because he's one of their top analysts.
Yeah. No, I mean, okay, so I read a report that it was a financial decision, basically. You had the Pat McAfee contract, you had Shannon Sharp signing, and obviously there was the big cut of last year where ESPN let go a lot of people, some which migrated over to Fox with Skip, some made their way back to the NFL Network, and I don't know where the other stragglers went, but yeah, I mean ESPN is knowing that they're making lots of cuts, and really it's Disney that's making all the cuts because Disney got a lot of other stuff going on that they need to allocate their money to. I.e. maybe the movie productions, the streaming deals, which you would think it'd be more lucrative because you have more money coming in and more revenue coming in because of the streaming deals. But the necessary cuts had to be made. They had to make their decision. RG3, just him and Sam Ponder both had seven figure salaries, so it was just like, we can cut here and save some money, and we don't necessarily need it. But I liked well, let me not say this. Let me be objective. RG3 was cool. His takes were like, he's a great analyst. Can't take nothing away from him. It was just the semantics in some of the hot takes that he had were a little bit, just a little bit. But
yeah, he can be ridiculous. I think that comes with the territory. Once you get behind that behind the four letter, you have that machine backing you, and obviously you can just start saying anything.
Yeah,
yeah.
He had a lot of takes. It just was like, are these your takes, or are these ESPN giving you the green light? They say these takes, but either way, it is sad to see him. I was shocked at the news. I was on Twitter all yesterday looking at that, and I was like, damn, that's crazy. Like, he got let go. It was just out of nowhere, but I know he's going to end up somewhere. He has his own podcast that's doing well. He's gonna blow up somewhere. And also, shout out to everybody that say hi in the chat. Appreciate y'all coming. I didn't forget y'all. Yeah, I didn't forget y'all. RG3 is gonna be he's gonna be a good analyst, whether it be for Fox or he might end up with the NFL Network. They pick up a lot of stragglers. I just recently heard a story though. This is off topic but still on topic. I didn't know why Marshall Faulk got let go from the NFL Network until I heard the story. The story was Marshall Faulk said something to a female co-host, and the female co-host went back to HR or whoever and said that he said something to her, and he got fired the next day. I heard the same almost exact story with Warren Sapp. Something happened to Warren Sapp, not in studio, but it was like, all right, bro, we gotta let you go. Cause
I can tell you what happened with Warren Sapp. He got caught with a hooker during the Super Bowl.
Yeah.
But the Marshall Faulk story was true because it was the employee for the NFL Network. It wasn't just him. It was Heath. I think it was Heath Evans, who's played for the Saints. Donovan McNabb was caught in this scandal. So it was a few guys who got caught up in this scandal, and Marshall Faulk was one of them. And Marshall Faulk was a main name because he's on their NFL Network's Sunday morning show. So that'd be the
kryptonite, though. You see how everybody gets like, even your boy, Michael Irvin. Michael Irvin was I remember it like it was yesterday. I did a whole expose on that. Michael Irvin. The Super Bowl, I remember it was the Eagles versus the Chiefs Super Bowl. Literally, like either the day or two before, Michael Irvin gets let go from the coverage of the Super Bowl. Like, what? Because of something, and they played the video, and it was bullshit. It was like, what are we talking about here? What? Did you see the video?
Of course I did.
The video,
I needed it because it took him off ESPN because remember he had just got out of ESPN on Mondays, the debate with Stephen A. Obviously now Shannon's there, but it took him off Mondays, which I thought was bogus and like you said, it took him off the Super Bowl coverage, and he was out, and he pretty much was AWOL for 6 months.
That was a long ass time, man.
But he got back in time just for the start of last season, and that's how he ended up, and that's why the report said it was going to end up on Undisputed with Skip.
Which was...
Stephen A. wanted him back, but ESPN just wasn't having it.
No, ESPN is very much so one of those companies that's like, you gotta be squeaky clean. And by squeaky clean mean you gotta be black and squeaky clean. Cause you can white, you can get caught with some other shit. Cause I definitely heard Mad Dog Russo say some crazy shit before. I've heard him say something about weed multiple times. ESPN didn't do anything.
He talks about openly eating gummies. He talks about
openly
taking gummies.
He talks about taking gummies. He's relaxing. I'm like, ESPN, really? Bruh, what? Even Stephen A. was like, but Stephen A. He know the pecking order. He's like, I can't do that. You can do that. I can't do that. I can't talk about stuff like that. Even with Pat McAfee. Listen, I don't care what nobody's saying. For them to make the exception to let Pat McAfee on the show, and if you have watched Pat McAfee as long as I have, I was watching Pat McAfee post-pandemic, middle of pandemic, and that show was raw. It was raw and it was rugged. And I mean, like, everything went. For them to let him on a broadcast of that nature, Disney, and then still let him kind of let rock with like the shit, like shit or damn, all the cuss words. Not the F-bomb. That lets you know, bro. Like, come on now. Are we serious right now?
That's the only way they were gonna get him.
That's the only way. But let Paul Pierce go up in a live with some strippers. Listen, Paul, I will never let that die down. Paul Pierce, you're an idiot, bro. He got fired on his day off.
Yeah. Look, Paul Pierce was doing fine. He just got caught on a live saying it. With Pat McAfee, he's cursing on company time because he got to put in his contract.
Yeah.
But with Paul, it's like, Paul knew better than that. But that's Paul, man. Paul ain't the sharpest knife in the drawer.
He ain't. But it still was funny. I remember watching that live too. He was like, Monica, we got Monica. That was too funny. It was hella funny. But I mean, ESPN's gonna do what they need to do in terms of who they think the talent is worth retaining versus who they don't think is retaining. Like who's doing the numbers and who's not doing the numbers. RG3 was a staple for me. At some point I got used to him. Honestly,
my boy Trail said Paul Pierce, the uncle you can't have it around the cookout.
That's so true. Paul Pierce was wilding, bro. He what's crazy, he still does that shit. Like, he'll do it on the network he's on. Did you see that? Did you see the clip of him? They were sitting in like a movie theater or some shit, and it was him and Kevin Garnett, and Paul Pierce was like you tell Paul Pierce was lit. He was lit, and he was just going like, you can buy a girlfriend for a day. You can buy a girlfriend for a day. And Kevin Garnett's trying to be professional. He's like, hey, we live. And he not catching the... Paul Pierce ain't catching the cues. He's like, we're live. He was just going crazy. That was too funny.
You don't care, Casey. I mean, he go YOLO. I mean, obviously, he get away with a lot of that stuff with Fox and with Showtime, but, you ain't getting away with that at the worldwide leader. You can't do that when you got that mouse on your check.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Disney don't play that. Yeah, Disney definitely don't play that.
You got that mouse on your checks. You can't do that.
But Showtime is different. Showtime, they let a lot of stuff rock. So Showtime's like a Walmart HBO in a sense. There's like, well, let me not reduce Showtime like that. But they're not as big as the HBO. But they let a lot of stuff rock, and that's how they are. Disney, they want as much ad revenue as possible, so they want to, like, the clean way is always going to bring you in the most, because you still got people in those subcategories when it comes to like religion, and they watch and they want their kids to be able to watch, and yeah, you want to be able to sell merch. You don't want your kids shying away from stuff like that, so that's why they keep it as clean as possible. But Pat McAfee is definitely. I think he's worth his weight in gold. So I would make those exceptions too. I can't even lie.
Yeah, they made it. Yeah, and I'm glad they did. I mean, I watched McAfee show. I've been watching McAfee show way before he was at ESPN. So I watched it. I mean, he's content gold. The whole crew, they're content gold. So
yeah,
they're in, and there's no turning back now. You're paying this dude this big contract, and that's part of the reason why people are upset with all these budget cuts, because Keyshons and the Max Kellermans and the Mark Jacksons and the Van Gundys all got let go. But but ESPN, they like the big personality. Stephen A is a big personality. Shannon's a big personality. I said McAfee's a big personality. Greeny's a big personality. That's where a lot of their money is being allocated to, as far as as far as contracts. And they obviously got the requisite pieces like a Ryan Clark, like a Marcus Spears, and like Doris Burks. They got the Kendrick Perkinses of the world and Leglers, and those pieces are requisite pieces who are obviously eventually gonna get their payday. But right now, they're good where they're at because they're on the number one sports network, and they're reaping the benefit from it.
I agree. And then also you gotta think about the names they have built outside of ESPN in terms of McAfee built a name like outside. He was literally, if you look at his traffic in terms of just like the sports algorithm, he had a huge portion of that during the daytime because his show came on during the day, like late mornings, early days. And a lot of people would just go to McAfee because McAfee, it was kind of like a cheat code. He had a lot of the NFL players come on. I think he really, his like stock spiked when he started having Aaron Rodgers on there daily almost. That shit went out the roof. And at that point, it was just like ESPN sees this traffic that it's almost like you got a direct line to somebody because they normally wouldn't rock with ESPN. But you're getting this. So Pat McAfee built that outside of ESPN, and he could just demand whatever amount he wanted at that point, and the terms and conditions, because it was like, either pay me or I'm going to just keep doing my thing. I got enough sponsorships. I don't need you, ESPN. It's one of the things I don't need you. In the same way, Stephen A's now building his brand outside of ESPN with his own show, but ultimately Stephen A still needs ESPN. Shannon built his own name outside of ESPN. Club Shay Shay, even the Nightcap. I watched the Nightcap. I love the Nightcap. Even with Skip, off the branding of that, him leaving Skip and the show plummeting as it did, that shows you how much cachet that Shannon had, and ESPN's gonna pay Shannon Sharp the money because it's like, I got my own bag outside of you. I don't need you. I would love to be with you. It's a consistent income, but I got my own fan base, plain and simple.
And it worked. Look at the interviews he be getting. I mean, obviously everyone focused on the Cat Williams interview because that was an interview that pretty much put him over.
Yeah.
But obviously he's just had Oscar De La Hoya on this week. He had LL on. He had Barkley. Obviously Kurt Franklin's been on there. Offset. He's not just delving into the sports world. He's delving into a world where he's talking. I mean, he had Brittany Renner on. We all know how wild that episode was.
I didn't see that Brittany Renner. I gotta watch that Brittany Renner episode. I ain't see that.
Yeah. She said something that made Shannon had to take a couple of shots on site. He had to take a couple of that shade on the 48 on site when she kind of gave her body count. So he's been getting good names. And obviously, you bring up Nightcap. Him and Ocho are pretty much content gold, especially Ocho Cinco. He's bound to say anything for entertainment purposes.
Yeah.
And they've had good guests on there as well. And I think it's like the player-driven media. Obviously, Draymond Green. Obviously, this really, you think about McAfee, but a lot of this also is a shifted from when all the smoke started.
You think so?
Smoke started, and obviously McAfee has a big part of it. But I think because obviously a lot of people didn't know who Pat McAfee was because he's a punter.
Yeah, I didn't know.
But as far as with all the smoke, you know Steven Jackson because outside of him being a basketball player, what was he famous for?
Oh, the famous Malice in the Palace. Yeah.
And you think about Matt Barnes, what is Matt Barnes famous for outside of being a basketball player?
The 2-hour car ride to go whoop my baby mother's boyfriend's ass. Derek Jack. You're right. You're absolutely right.
Derek Fisher. And then what is he? And what is the one meme that everyone plays on Matt Barnes? Of him trying to make Kobe flinch. I mean, and but these were guys because you knew their faces. Obviously, I mean, if you were a real sports head, you knew who Pat McAfee was. And then when he delved in the content game, it was like, okay, it was different because I checked out the show a few times. I'm like, okay, you got Pac-Man on there. I
Yeah,
mean, I knew a little bit about Darius Butler playing with the Colts.
I know about Darius Butler.
And
Yeah,
then obviously I knew AJ Hawk because he was a Packer. And then and then some of the guests he had on there, obviously everybody focuses on when he has Aaron Rodgers on. But obviously one couple of interviews that got me was, because I'm a wrestling fan, he had Brock Lesnar on when Brock Lesnar made his return to the WWE back right after the pandemic. And then he had Vince McMahon on in 2022, obviously, because obviously Pat does stuff with the WWE. And I think a lot of people, that also opened up him to a lot of other people's eyes, even if they were already watching because they were wrestling fans. But if they were wrestling fans, like, okay, this McAfee guy might not be that bad. And now you add the machine of ESPN. Now it's like a mega power.
It's almost unfair, bro. It's like I sit and watch his show during the daytime as I'm working, and I'm like, this motherfucker, like there's no way to compete with this guy. He's the most likable guy. He's very knowledgeable, and on top of that, he's versatile in every sport. Like I heard him talking about golf. I was like, what the hell? He talking about golf now, and he's talking. They go into baseball. They go into every sport, and he got a huge. That's the thing. McAfee, even before he got on ESPN, he had a support cast, and I think that's where a lot of people forget. If you got it's a numbers game with this content game. If you got people to support you, because he had a bunch of don't get it twisted. Pat McAfee is the main attraction, but it's the guys around him too that made the show more cultivated. So you like, oh, I like the chemistry they all have. They friends, this buddy, and everybody talks. Everybody plays a role.
Look at it. Boston Connor and Ty Schmidt don't get added to WWE 2K if it wasn't for what people see on the McAfee show. Obviously, Darius Butler was a former NFL player, but it also made people want him on because he'd be on Good Morning Football sometime. Then he got a job on the matchup show. Obviously, we all know Pac-Man, and everybody knows who Pac-Man Jones is.
Yep.
Everybody knows who AJ Hawk is. But all those other guys, they've benefited from having this chance. Obviously, McAfee doing mega casts during football games and being on the sideline and talking to players and stuff. They benefited a lot from it, and it wasn't just luck. Obviously there's that chemistry they have. It's natural, and you can tell it's nothing put on when the camera comes on and
it's live
football. That's real.
You can't substitute that. Like the authenticity of how that show is, and it's just but enough talk about Pat McAfee. Anyway, we know the guy's great. ESPN is gonna give it back. I think what RG3 needs to do is he got enough money and support to get his own little thing started. Not saying that you need to copy the exact structure, but he can start something. You're a Heisman Trophy Award winner. You can articulate yourself well. You know the game of football. You know sports overall. You're gonna be okay. But ESPN is just like, I still don't like the route that ESPN's going. Pretty soon it's gonna be like, why are we even watching ESPN? But ESPN is smart to go grab the biggest players in the sports content world, i.e. Shannon Sharp and Pat McAfee, because it's the smartest chess move ever. You're losing the views. People aren't watching anymore. People aren't really entertained. It seemed like at some point it just got corny. It got really, really corny. And I was sitting there thinking to myself, like, man, I don't want to watch this stuff anymore, because they had one segment on. What's the guy that is during NFL Live? There's a former. God, I wish I remember his name. I'm drawing a blank on his name, but he had some mama. There goes that man. That segment. I was like, this is the most shooking and jiving segment I've ever watched. Mama, that man bad or some shit like that. It's something. That boy bad. Yeah, that boy bad. Harry Douglas.
That's Harry Douglas from the Falcons. He does a segment every week on Get Up. It's basically highlights from the college or the NFL world.
I hate that segment so bad.
That's it. That's Harry Douglas, former Falcons wide receiver.
I hate that segment so bad. The dance he does and the term, it just gives me so much shooking and jiving vibe. It's like not even real. I don't even feel like the authenticity in that segment, and that's why I knew ESPN was going down the drain with that shit. I was like, what are y'all doing? Who made that? What producer came to him and said, we'll give you a big bag to do? Like, do you like that segment? I don't want to belittle if you don't, you know.
I watch the segment. I mean, I watch it if it's on, it's on. If it's not, if it's on, it's on. If I'm not watching it at the time, I'm not gonna. It's not must see TV for me. It's not. It's a segment. Obviously, I think it's cool when the kid.
I hate that segment.
I've seen it. I like when the videos they seen with their kids doing the dance. Now that's cool. That's fun. That's cute. But outside of that, I mean, it's just. I mean, it's whatever. I mean, it's whatever to me. I don't lose minutes.
Bro,
upset if I don't segment.
I can't stand that shit, and it just boils my blood because I know the semantics. I look at it and I'm like, this is something shoehorned in by ESPN's producers just to make it seem, just to see, oh, we got the pizzazz, we cool too. You know what I'm saying? We can do the dances and all that other stuff. It's like ESPN, that's not you. I preferred. And this is me because I'm super old school. I grew up leaving ESPN on in my room at the age of 13, coming back from school watching ESPN all day. I grew up in the era where Chris Berman, you talking about Chris Berman, you cut Boomer Esiason, the Stakes, back when Chris Morton was still alive. I am used to these personalities and just being themselves versus this shit now. It's like you're trying to be hip. No, be you. Stick to your fan base, your core fan base. Even though they get older, some of them are aging out, but people know you for you. Now you're trying to appeal to Gen Z and the millennials, the younger millennials. I'd rather you stick to what you know versus I'm gonna bloom out and try to do this. But the two main attractions they got aren't doing the semantics. Shannon ain't doing no semantics. Pat McAfee's not doing no semantics. They just doing what they knew they doing originally. Not none of the corny shit that's going on. A lot of it is really corny.
It's what sometimes you gotta pick. Some people like to cater to the masses, but they wouldn't. It gets attention on ESPN. They wouldn't get attention if it was on FS1. Nobody would care. It'd just be just another day.
Yeah,
but it's on ESPN. So people are going to pay attention because they're the worldwide leader in sports.
Man. But, hey, changes have to happen, I guess. That's my take. Well, best wishes to RG3, man. We support you. We love you. Not really, but, you know. John rocks with you.
You land on your feet. Land on his feet.
He'll get on his feet. He'll get on his feet.
He got money. He's good. He's a Heisman winner. Go speak somewhere. He'll be all right.
Yeah, he'll speak some. He'll make some money off of speaking engagements. All right, so we one of the other topics was still Brandon Ayuk. I think we talked about that already. Did we not?
We talked about it last week, but obviously the latest now is it sounds like he's going to be staying put in San Francisco. But I was talking about this on our show on Tuesday, and it was like if there's urge, and I heard John Lynch, he went on local sports talk radio in the Bay, saying we feel the urgency to get something done. Well, I'm like this. What are we waiting on? Same thing with CeeDee Lamb. What are we waiting on? If you feel the urgency, get the deal done. Get the dude in camp. Yeah, obviously you're gonna probably hold him out a week because you don't want to get no soft tissue injury. Because obviously so just get the deal done so he can get into the groove of things. And if you're going to trade him, like Steelers. We all know if it's not going to be the Niners, it's going to be the Steelers, and the Steelers pretty much got a deal on the table. So it's on the Niners.
It is on the Niners.
You gonna keep him or you gonna keep him or not?
They might. They may not. They may be like, But it sounds like they're getting close because he wouldn't pad up for no reason. He wouldn't pad up for no deal on the table or nothing talked about. So
Debo said today he was on Kay Adams' show thinking that. Yeah, this is gonna get done. I'm not even worried.
I think it'll get done before the regular season from the looks of it.
This will not go into week 1. This will be done. The latest I must give it is after week 3 of the preseason. This will be done before Labor Day.
How long did it take to get Nick Boa's deal done? Like, was it week 1?
Right before the season.
Right before the season? Yeah, he got paid. He got paid a lot.
Yeah, he didn't miss a game. So he'll be back. He'll get done before week 1.
I said Bosa. My bad, Bosa. Nick Bosa.
I know, but yeah, he'll be done before week 1.
Yeah, no, that's pretty crazy. But either way, that's gonna be all right. Let me somebody spamming in the chat. Let me get rid of these mugs. All right. Yeah, we back. Anyway, what's the other topic we got? We talked about Ayuk. We got CeeDee Lamb still not signed.
Yeah. Jerry said Jerry BSing.
Jerry BSing.
He needs to stop BSing.
They got the money. I don't know what's going on.
Well, Jerry, he likes to drag this stuff out to the 11th hour, so this isn't no shock there.
I mean, you think they're gonna have a deal inked? Because right now we getting closer and closer. We got like 2 more weeks to the regular season.
It'll get done before the season.
It'll get done before the season? I don't know. I think because the Cowboys got like a little bit of a debacle. It's gonna be. They still got to worry about CeeDee Lamb. They got to worry about Micah Parsons. They got to worry about who else? Dak. Even though Dak can kind of wait. I can make Dak wait. I would wholeheartedly tell Dak, you got big money before. I'm not real. And honestly, I'm not even going to give Dak the market price if I'm the Cowboys. I'm not going to give you top market price.
Look, we talked about this last week, KC. Someone's gonna give him that, but someone's gotta be willing to say no. I don't think no one will. This is gonna happen. It's gonna keep going until one of these quarterbacks fall flat on their face as far as after they get this money. As long as they're playing average or above average, this money's gonna keep going up. Now, if Dak gets this 60 and he just turns into a pumpkin, whether it's with Dallas or someplace else, then I think we'll get brought back down to reality real quick.
So, all right. I think like for the Cowboys talk, I'm cool, but I think what is the biggest thing? Okay, the biggest thing that I want to talk about with you, John, is the Falcons. The Falcons. You seen the additions the Falcons got, right?
You know I did.
So they traded for your boy Matthew Judon for a third round pick. And they got your boy. I think you called it. I think you was like he's going to sign with the Falcons.
Oh, man.
All
this
right.
Really annoys me because Justin Simmons and Maya should still be a Bronco. So I know he was a cap casualty, and it stinks. Just stinks. It's not even fair, man. It stinks.
Hey, man, the Falcons secondary is going. You know the Falcons secondary got? They core secondary. Jesse Bates, Simmons, AJ Terrell.
That's somebody that
Okuda. Bro, if Okuda can stay healthy, bro, Falcons gonna be dominant, bro.
I'm waiting to see on Okuda because obviously he had the Achilles injury and he really didn't. Obviously things didn't pan out well with him in Detroit, so I'm waiting to see him there. I like AJ Terrell. But Jesse Bates and Justin Simmons at safety is a good duo.
Bro, you blanket half the field with them two.
Mm-hmm.
Field's gone. Jesse Bates. I'm mad that the Bengals even had the audacity not to re-sign this man. That was your defense. That was your defensive captain right there, bro. Like Jesse Bates shut shit down that playoff year.
Right.
I'm keeping him because that takes all the pressure off of Burrow. Bro, that's crazy.
Jesse Bates is good. They're both good. They're both. I mean, like I said, him and Justin Simmons are gonna be they're just gonna be unstoppable together.
Man, I can't wait to see how the season pans out. This is gonna be fun. I predict the Falcons are gonna be well above 500. I said that myself. They should win that division. They should, but stranger things have happened. Stranger things have happened, so we'll see where we go with that. But I don't know, man. We'll see. What's your take on the Falcons' record?
I mean, they should have a winning record, but I mean, we'll see. We'll see. They should have a winning record, but like I said, we'll see. We'll see how that goes. But they should end up with a winning record.
And man, I'm down here in Atlanta. I just want to see the Falcons like do something this year. I'm not an Atlanta Falcons fan, but I really do want to see the Falcons do something this year. Just for the sake of saying, hey, all right, cool, y'all got the city going.
Good luck with that. Obviously, they was talking about them. They was talking about Atlanta today on First Take. Mad Dog Russo had his 3-word sports cities, and Atlanta was number 2.
What was the criteria behind Atlanta being number 2?
The fans in Atlanta aren't
they are fair weather.
Very fair weather, and obviously I can say this being a Lakers fan when I watch a Hawks game when the Lakers play the Hawks. There's a lot of purple and gold in those stands, so I know. But I'm not in the city like you, so.
I will say that is very true. What Matt Russo said about Atlanta fans in the city they are very fair weather fans, meaning they will not stay Hawks fans or Falcons fans if the tickets on windshields. You can get you can get an Atlanta Hawks tickets put on your windshield. We don't want this shit. They was giving Hawks tickets away at the game at the schools. They was like, here, you want a free Hawks game ticket?
That's not like the stuff to do. That's not like the way the Clippers used to be down at the sports arena.
Really?
Nobody was checking for the Clippers. Nobody was checking for the Clippers, nobody was checking for the Clippers for like 20 years.
Yeah, the Hawks were horrible, man. They were. I mean, but listen, when the Falcons lost the Super Bowl, they damn near was about to burn down the city.
Oh, I bet.
But that's because that they were this close away from getting their first championship outside of baseball. The very first championship outside of baseball, and it was just like, well, shit, damn, we couldn't get this. Because, baseball, Braves are a pretty good franchise. They won recently. They have a winning history. They got championships. But, Atlanta is a very urban city, to say the least. And the urban sports, are basketball and football.
Yeah.
Well, I hate saying urban. Black. We're going to say black. Because that's
right.
Very black sports where black predominant players are. So they want a championship in one of the two, the Hawks or the Falcons. Hawks ain't. I'm gonna be honest with you. The Hawks ain't going to see a championship in the next 20 years. I can guarantee you that. I can put my bottom dollar on that. I will say this wholeheartedly: the Hawks won't see a championship or sniff the finals for the next 20 years. I'm being quite honest with you. Falcons, not so much. Huh?
Yeah, you're right. And obviously the question is going to be what's going to happen with Trae Young in the future. And obviously they traded Dejounte Murray to New Orleans, and now everyone just believes it's a matter of when Trae Young gets traded, and they draft the kid Ricochet out of France. I don't know if he's going to be a
He's not
game
going.
changer.
He's not going to change
I
anything
mean,
for you.
I mean, but they've dealt. Look, they haven't had a real star probably since Dominique. Obviously, they had the Mutombo years. They had the Mutombo years,
Yeah.
but they had the run with Budenholzer. Obviously, there was no star on them teams with Al Horford and Paul Millsap, but that was always in the playoffs. Obviously, Joe Johnson was down there. They had playoff teams. They just never put together a contender. I mean, the closest they got was that 2015 team that got to the conference finals, but they ran into LeBron and didn't win a game. And then from then on, it was just downhill.
Yeah, they're gonna be downhill for a while, man. The Hawks ain't going to playoffs in the next 20 years. They're not really too much concerned with building an actual quality team. They just concerned with the flash and the glitz. I still to this day don't understand the whole swapping of the drafts for Trae Young and why am I drawing a blank? Luka.
I think they want. I mean, I don't know. That we want them trade. They'll be forever. Their names will be forever attached to each other because of that trade. Forever.
Stupid. Very, very so much stupid, man. Stupid. But
you can only wonder what would Atlanta be like if Luka was there. But
that's a good deal. That's a good deal. What else? What else we got? Hey, man. I mean, honestly, I think we went over. I'm just rehashing stuff from the previous show. I know you got to get ready for your show.
Yeah, you come on, join. We gonna talk AFC North. We are gonna talk about a little NBA. We are gonna discuss this NBA schedule, but we are gonna talk a lot about the AFC North. Obviously, we know this was the Ravens division last year, but what's it gonna be? Obviously, we gonna discuss with the Bengals. Joe Burrow's coming back healthy. They got their contract situation with Jamar Chase and T. Higgins. They got to figure out. Clearly, we know T. Higgins is going to play this year under the franchise tag, unless they eventually trade him. And then obviously Jamar Chase wants to get paid. And then
with Jamar, he's not holding out, is he?
Nah, I mean he missed practice. I think it was the first time he missed practice the other day. But I don't think he's going to be a holdout. Obviously, we got to talk about the Browns. They have them on defense, and will Deshaun Watson eventually live up to that contract, because you're in a division with with an MVP and a quarterback who played in the Super Bowl. And then obviously we're talking quarterbacks. We got what's going to be the situation in Pittsburgh with Russell Wilson or Justin Fields. I mean,
I think Russell's going to start, bro. I mean, that's just to be honest. He's going to start. Justin Fields is just looking like trash right now, but
I've been saying it too. I mean, and I think it's easier to start with Russell Wilson and then start with Justin Fields, because Justin Fields comes out the gate and he's not what everyone has been hyping him up to be. Oh, that he can be the next Ryan Tannehill, a better version of Ryan Tannehill in Arthur Smith's system. It's over. It's a wrap. It's a wrap.
The fact that you're being compared to Arthur Smith, I mean to Ryan Tannehill, bro. Anyway, no, that's crazy to be compared to Ryan Tannehill, or at least
look what he did. What Arthur Smith did with Ryan Tannehill. I'm like, man, that's not a compliment.
It's not. That's really not.
Ryan Tannehill did not have the hype and does not have the talent and the intent and the skill set. I mean, look, he's a mobile quarterback. He's a former wide receiver too. He played wide receiver at A&M before he went back to quarterback. But no, him and Justin Fields should not take that as a compliment that he's saying that he can make you Ryan Tannehill. No, you should be better than Ryan Tannehill.
You should be 10 times better than Ryan Tannehill.
Yes.
It shouldn't even be a discussion. Like, bro, what? I would be highly offended. I'd be like, what? This guy doesn't even have any accolades. What are we talking about?
Right.
Does he have a Pro Bowl?
Only thing I don't think he got a Pro Bowl. Only thing I know is that year he came in Tennessee and he took the job from Mariota. They gave him a comeback player of the year. He got comeback player of the year. That was the only accolade he had in Tennessee. And then obviously he helped lead them, to I think with the AFC Championship, and they lost to Kansas City.
Yeah.
But outside of that, he ain't really did much.
Yeah, no.
Now he's on the street he's on the street for a reason right now. So I'm in LA, so a lot of Rams fans are upset with what they saw from Stetson Bennett the other day, throwing them 4 interceptions. And obviously Matthew Stafford's missing is right now.
Hey, you know what that was though? You know what that was though? You know what that was? The 4 interceptions, you know what that was?
What was that?
He went on the binge last night, the night before. He went on the binge. You know, Stetson Bennett is known on campus. He was known on UGA campus partying hard and then going to games. And I can only imagine he in LA. That mug probably living it up.
Well, he didn't play none. Look, he wasn't with the team none last year. So this is his first really instance of being back with the team. He was with the team a little bit during the preseason last year, but he was not with the team at all during the regular season. But everyone's worried about, okay, say Matthew Stafford goes down, they don't got Garoppolo for the first 2 games of the season because of a PED suspension. Can you live with Stetson Bennett for 2 games? And a lot of people are saying no. And everyone's saying, well, go get Ryan Tannehill. I'm like, well, if you get Ryan Tannehill, I think Ryan Tannehill's going to have a set price because he still feels he can be a starting quarterback in this league. And he's already made a very nice chunk of change. He's not in a rush to get back in the league. I think this would be Ryan Tannehill's 12th season in the NFL.
That is crazy. Ryan Tannehill been in the league that long, and
he was in that RG3 Andrew Luck draft.
That was such a special draft.
Yeah, he was in that draft. He was I don't remember which quarterback he was that was taken, but he was in that draft. Miami took him in the first round.
Such a special draft. Such a great draft.
Yeah.
Because Luck I think Luck would have been a perennial Hall of Famer if he stayed in.
Oh, definitely. I was telling my boy Trail about it. He's going to be on with us Tuesday to talk about the Saints. I was just saying how the what ifs. Because a lot of people felt Andrew Luck, if he would have came out a year earlier in 2011, he would have still been the number 1 pick. And that was the year Carolina had the number 1 and they took Cam. And I was thinking about that draft. If he goes number 1, that means Cam falls to number 2 to my Broncos. Von Miller falls number 3 to Buffalo. And AJ Green still goes to Cincinnati. And Andrew Luck is, instead of, they're building the team with T.Y. Hilton and these guys, he's already got D'Angelo Williams, Jonathan Stewart, Steve Smith, and Greg Olsen right there as weapons.
The what ifs, man. The what ifs.
Mm-hmm.
Big what ifs.
Oh, definitely.
Because what if the Giants, instead of getting Daniel Jones, got another quarterback that's... Because I still, for the life of me, will never understand the pick of Daniel Jones. I just don't understand it.
Those type of picks, they get people fired.
Oh, no. Best believe all that staff is on the chopping block. If Daniel Jones doesn't succeed, that whole staff is on the chopping block. If Daniel Jones doesn't get hurt and has a below 500 season, DeBoe is gone. The GM's gone. All the offense, everybody's gone. It's going to be a cleaning of the house. Because why the hell? It just doesn't make sense. I don't want to even talk about it because they're just idiots. They're just idiots over there. How you let Saquon go?
First call is going to be the one of William Belichick.
You think that's Belichick's in? Because Belichick going to come right back to New York after all these years?
They'll call him. They're going to make the call. I think everybody's going to make the call. Every team that's going to need a coach, he's going to be the first person. Between him, Pete Carroll, and Mike Vrabel, they're going to be the 3 hottest candidates on the coaching circle.
Who's getting fired? Who you think who's on the chopping block this year?
Eberflus is on the hot seat for sure.
Who?
Eberflus in Chicago's on the hot seat for sure.
Yeah.
I'll just go by division. I'm gonna go by division. I know Sean McDermott. I know Jerome Mayo. Salah definitely, because they just give him the keys to Aaron Rodgers. Salah, he could be on the chopping block. Obviously, Mike McCarthy's a lame duck this year. You just brought up Brian Daboll. He could be on. He could be gone. That whole division could be gone except for Dan Quinn. Just think about that. The whole AFC. That's 4 coaches right now. I'm just named. You go to the North. Like I said, Eberflus would be 5. I don't think the other coaches in the NFC North are in danger. AFC North. Mike Tom. I'll be shocked if Mike Tomlin gets fired.
I don't think Mike Tomlin gets fired.
Steelers don't fire coaches. And if he does be the first, he'll be out of a job 5 seconds. Harbaugh's not going anywhere. Alday Stefanski's not going anywhere. Zach Taylor, they're not. I think the AFC North is straight. As far as the NFC South, Dennis Allen in New Orleans. Because Carolina got a new coach. Atlanta has a new coach, and I think Todd Bowles. I don't think he's going anywhere. I don't think Todd Bowles is going anywhere right now with Tampa. AFC South. I think all those coaches are safe because they got a new coach in Tennessee. Doug Peterson's a Super Bowl champion. Not just gonna let him go. Obviously, Shane Steichen didn't get a full year with Anthony Richardson, so I think he's gonna get at least 2 years with Anthony Richardson, and then obviously DeMeco Ryans has proven that he should have been coach of the year last year. But the West, and then in the West, AFC wise, obviously we're not fighting Rashawn Payton, but he's got to show me something as a Broncos fan. Harbaugh's not going anywhere. Obviously Antonio Pierce is not going, just got hired, so he's not going anywhere. And then obviously Andy Reid has job security for life. And then in the NFC, I don't think none of those coaches are going anywhere because Seahawks just hired a new coach. It's only the second year for the coach in Arizona, and I think McVay and Shanahan, they call their own shot. So it's probably about 5 coaching. It'll be about 5 coaching changes possible at most this year.
I think I don't know who I heard talking about the Sean McVay situation. Not the Sean McVay. Damn, who was out here listening to talk about Sean Payton? I forgot what show was talking about him, but in terms of Sean Payton, I think this is his prove it year. Honestly, a lot of people feel like he kind of just like sat on Russell Wilson in terms of he didn't even give him a shot from day one. Only because he came in there like Sean Payton came in there to clean house, and the way Russell Wilson had everything set up prior, it was kind of like, what are you doing? Who do you think you are? Like, what? We cleaning house with you. So it was already a bad attitude towards Russell Wilson, especially benching him at the end of the year. It didn't make any sense. So this is essentially Sean Payton's prove it year. If he doesn't do anything with the Broncos, if the Broncos don't go anywhere, don't go to the playoffs, he could potentially be fired. I think so. And a lot of people, some people share that same sentiment as me. Some people say he's a Hall of Fame coach. The Broncos would never do that. They didn't bring him in there just for 2 years to fire him. So, I don't know.
Look, they gave him a 5-year deal, and obviously stuff we've given up to get him. So we got to see this out. I think he's safe. And I don't think our GM is safe. George Payton.
You don't think George Payton's safe?
I don't think he's safe. I think the Walton Penner Group is giving Sean Payton the keys to the organization, and he's gonna call the shot. So eventually gonna want to bring in his own GM. It wouldn't shock me if he tries to pry Mickey Loomis out of New Orleans. But he's gonna want to bring in his own guy who has the same philosophy as him, and let him be the CEO, and that guy just follow suit and try to get the players that he wants. I felt he did Russell Wilson dirty.
He did Russell Wilson very dirty.
Russell Wilson didn't have a bad year last year. I know everyone's still saying, well, based off the first year, that he all he could do was go but up. I'm like, well, yeah. Nathaniel Hackett never had the damn job. I said it last week. You heard me say it, Casey.
Yeah.
The only reason he got the damn job is because he promised they'd deliver Aaron Rodgers. And when Aaron Rodgers said, I'm staying in Green Bay one more year, we were screwed. So we went to Plan B, and Plan B was pretty much mortgage the farm to get Russell Wilson, which we really didn't have to do, and we didn't have to pay him because he was still under contract. But I figured this new ownership wanted to make a splash, and that's what they did. I saw this with the Dodgers. when the Guggenheim group with Magic bought the team. Just go out there and just spend a bunch of money just so people can see y'all not cheapskates. But he got to prove it. He got out to prove. I mean, and my boy Josh says this all the time. And I want to get your thoughts on this, Casey, before we get up out of here. What's the difference between Sean Payton and Mike McCarthy?
The difference is, okay, so there's not much of a difference other than consistently being in the NFL. Sean Payton took a break to go broadcast. Mike McCarthy has consistently been employed in the NFL. They both have Super Bowls under let's be honest, both quarterbacks are Hall of Famers.
Yes.
Mike McCarthy, I think we've had more time to evaluate Mike McCarthy as a coach and evaluate the fact that let's look at it like this. Mike McCarthy got a Super Bowl off of the old regime of Green Bay. The old regime of Green Bay consisted of all the players that whoever the former head coach of Green Bay was, they still had some of the remnants of those players. So Mike McCarthy got that. Sean Payton, with that, New Orleans was built up from Sean Payton. Okay, New Orleans was built up because they got Drew Brees from at that time they was the San Diego Chargers. They had a decent running game, defense. We just haven't had more time to evaluate Sean Payton, and I think that if he needs to separate himself from the Mike McCarthy thing, if we're making comparisons like that in terms of where's your consistency at? I mean, if you can get to the playoffs, okay, cool. Can you win another Super Bowl? Can you consistently be in the NFC Championship or AFC Championship? It's really, I don't know. I don't think it's a fair comparison, though.
But it's thing with like you was just saying, like, okay, you got to prove now. This is where we're gonna see can he coach. Like we've seen McCarthy, what he's done since he's been in Dallas with Dak, but they've gotten to the playoffs, but they haven't gotten no championship Sunday.
Mm-hmm.
Now let's see what do you really like with Drew Brees. Like my boy Sherrod will tell me, well, look what he did with Jameis, and I'm like, okay, and everyone wants to bring up Taysom Hill. I'm like, man, miss me. Taysom Hill's not a quarterback. He's not a quarterback. He's a gadget player.
He is though. He is. He really is.
But we'll see. You got your quarterback. You drafted Bo Nix. I wasn't really a fan of the pick. I wanted Michael Penix. Then the Falcons pulled some BS. But when I saw in that first preseason game, and again, I'll take preseason with a grain of salt, but there was nothing he could have done besides take a dump in his pads that would have told me he would have been worse than Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson. And when I looked at what he was doing, he looked incompetent in the offense. And a lot of people was just saying he runs the offense the way Sean Payton likes it ran, where it's a quick response. Don't just hold on to the ball too long, get it out within 5 seconds. And he did a lot of that. And I'm gonna say this: when he played, we had 4 scoring drives. Now he'll get to start Sunday against Green Bay, and then I assume by the next day, Sean Payton will officially announce he's gonna be the starter week 1 when we go to Seattle against the Seahawks. But there was nothing that Bo Nix could have done that's any bad that's worse than Jarrett Stidham and Zach Wilson.
I still don't understand the Zach Wilson pickup. I still don't understand how Zach Wilson is still in the NFL. I still don't understand why he was even picked as high as he did out of BYU. Do we even have a history log of BYU quarterbacks being successful in the NFL? What division?
Probably just 2.
Who?
Steve Young and Jim McMahon.
I stand corrected, but Steve Young is okay, outlier. But the other one, you said who?
Jim McMahon.
Jim McMahon. Okay, yeah, I stand corrected on that one too. 2 Super Bowl.
Only 2 quarterbacks I can name from BYU. That name I can think from BYU.
But I don't know why they thought Zach Wilson was one of those. He's not. He's clearly not. I don't even know.
And every team feels like, oh well, I get him in my system. I guarantee I can make him a better quarterback.
He clearly doesn't have the IQ. He clearly doesn't. You know what? That's another story. That's another story, man. You got anything for the good of the group before we get out of here? I don't want to hold you up from getting prepped for your show, which I'll be on too.
Man, we're just gonna get started. Sports for You, live on YouTube, X, and Facebook. YouTube.com/Sports for You podcast. We're gonna talk AFC North and continue our two-a-day series. Tonight was AFC North. Casey's gonna join the conversation about that. My boy Paco Salt's gonna be on to talk. He's in Columbus. He's gonna talk about the Browns. And we're gonna talk about the NBA schedule. And obviously, we do a segment when one of us missed the show. So we moved the show to Wednesday because of scheduling conflict. So we got what did Mark miss? Because Mark's gonna be in my face. He's about to walk in the door in a minute. And we're gonna go over the stuff that he missed, obviously, from Wednesday's show. And look, we got new merch. We got the new Sports for You.
Go ahead, show out the new merch, people. Hey, let me answer some of these. Yes, they really did trade Matthew Judon for a third round pick. Ryan McDonald, how you doing? We are here. Who else is here? If I haven't acknowledged you in the chat, say something. I appreciate you guys being here.
Huh? They can't see here. Oh,
they got the merch on.
Yeah, we got the Sports for You merch. Obviously, got Mark here. So
What up?
Got the new logo.
What up with it?
Got the new logo hoodies and t-shirts coming in gray and black. You can DM us at Sports for You podcast on X or on Instagram for the prices and size availability and obviously any shipping if you're out of the LA area. So we'll let you know all that info and what we got available. But we're gonna talk two-a-days. Casey gonna come on with us in a minute once we finish this up, and we're gonna just talk. And we're gonna just we do on a Friday night. Anything's bound to happen. Casey was with us last Friday. He knows what it is.
Yep. I sure do. I'm gonna be on in a second though. I gotta give me something to eat because I'm hungry as hell. So
Go ahead, we'll see.
Lemon pepper wings. I feel you.
Hey. Lemon pepper sound good. See, I was about to get something else, maybe a burger or something, but now lemon pepper is on my mind now. You know what I'm saying? Now it's on my mind. See, thank you. It changed my whole perspective. Anyway, all right. Well, this has been, we're going to call this the After Hours segment. I appreciate you, my guy, John, and my other homie right here, Mark.
Mark in the building, you heard?
Sports for You. Go make sure you follow them. We got their links down below. My guys, it's been a great show. Mark, you gotta come in more often, bro. Oh, they froze up on me. Well, anyway, guys, we're gonna wrap this up. Shout out to again my guys from Sports for You, John and Mark, and we're gonna wrap this up real good, people. They froze on me. It was just getting good. That was a sign that we needed to finish it up. But all right, everybody, take it easy. This is the KC Sports Show.